Hey, hey, hey.
How are you doing?
I'm good. How's
Good.
everybody out there today? Appreciate you being on, everybody.
Well, I
Uh,
tell you what, I'm excited to be here. I wasn't
yeah,
here last week. I heard you knocked it out of the park.
I don't know about that, but it was definitely something that has been on my mind a lot. So I'm glad we talked about it. Today we're going to be talking about something that we've been talking about all this cutting edge stuff and Chat GPT and AI, and it seems like the world's been focused on all of that. Today we're going back to basics,
Yeah.
not basics, but like the rudimentary things that always work, no matter what's going on in the world. These are things you can count on for marketing. And a lot of them are not digital strategies. So, for a digital marketing agency to start talking about kind of this stuff, I think really shows that in the market the way that it is right now, the uncertainty and some of our clients talking about things slowing down to a crawl and being a little bit frightened by that, a little bit scared the phone's not ringing right
Mhm.
now, and it doesn't feel like years past. It feels different right now. We thought it'd be a great time to talk about good old fashioned guerrilla marketing.
Well, and let me just say this because here's what happens. When the phones quit ringing, it's because people quit seeking out what you do. It just lines up. I mean, I went back this last week because we had, there are parts of the country that had this huge snowstorm, and parts of it had really snow for the first time this year, for big snow and cold. Well, all their numbers spiked. Everybody else that's been unseasonably warm, their numbers stayed flat or went down a little bit. So you have to realize when you're talking about digital marketing, you really are in a space in a lot of places that people are looking for what you do based on a need.
Yep.
So I need something. It's cold outside, something's not working. Oh my gosh, I haven't had this cleaned, I haven't had it swept, I haven't done this, I haven't done that. I hear this, water, whatever that is, there's a need there. And then people go online and they start searching, and thus they see your ad, they see you're ranking well locally and SEO and organically, and they call you, you're their guy, they call you, you come out, and that's great. So when the weather is cooperating and it impacts people and makes people think, oh, I need to take care of something, all of a sudden you have you have customers, and that's great. That's absolutely fantastic. But when you don't have customers seeking you out, you have to do things differently. It's just part of it. And that's one of the reasons I like Facebook, because when people, again, if you're not doing ads on Facebook, people are searching for what you do. They're searching for you through Facebook. A lot of people don't understand Facebook is a search engine, just like YouTube is a search engine. Twitter, a search engine. People can search for what you do on those platforms. Um, but the ads are a little bit different on Facebook because they kind of throw it in front of you and can entice you even when they may not be looking for what you do. So, in that sense, that's digital marketing. So when the phones aren't ringing because people aren't looking, what that means is, oh, we have to go do some guerrilla marketing. So what exactly is guerrilla marketing?
Well, it's not a hairy ape. It has nothing to do with
No, it's not gorilla, it's guerrilla.
guerrilla.
Yeah. Well, and being dyslexic, I did go out and figure out that those were two different things. And I was really glad about it because I thought it was, but I second guess myself all the time.
Yeah.
So, guerrilla marketing really is getting in the weeds. I mean, it is a derivative of battle. And so I can remember reading a historical, um, it's been years ago. I wish I could remember the name of the book, but it was a historical battle in the Revolutionary War. And one of the things that came out about it is, on the Americas, we were hiding in the woods shooting people that were doing this old fashioned battle where they would march out, to the deal, and they'd all sit down, and these people would sit down and the others would stand up and they'd shoot each other. Well, we didn't fight that way. We were fighting guerrilla warfare. We were shooting from the side and, from all that. And it totally threw the British off. They had never conducted themselves in that kind of battle before. So that's really what guerrilla marketing is. It's kind of doing things differently than what everybody else is doing right now.
Whatever it takes.
Whatever it is. Yeah. And so so that's what we're going to be talking about. So there's a lot of examples of guerrilla marketing. And we're going to talk about some of those today, but there may be some things that we don't cover that you may think is guerrilla marketing. And man, if you do, just put them in there, give us some ideas. And sorry, I'm recovering from vacation. That sounds crazy, but I am recovering. So the first thing I want to talk about is some really low cost marketing techniques. Because one of the things people talk about when their phones aren't ringing and they start getting fearful, and they take their money and they tend to hold on to it really, really close. So for those people, I wanted to give them some really good low cost things that they can do. Now, here's the thing. Normally, if you're not paying out money, you're replacing money with time. So some of these things may take a little bit of time. May take your technicians and staff a little bit more time to do, but again, it's low cost. Okay. Someone's going to jump in. Are you all right with that, Carter?
Of course.
Okay. So the first one is yard signs. You would be amazed because we track those things. And I would say if you have the ability to do that, to track all your phone numbers, to make sure you are tracking where your calls are coming from. We have people that get one or two off yard signs, one or two, customers almost weekly off yard signs. And a yard sign normally is $5 to $7 a piece. And if you're in an area that's really well traveled, you don't have to leave them everywhere. But if you're in an area where it gets a lot of traffic, putting a yard sign out where traffic can see it, it's a pretty good bet and a pretty low cost way to do some advertising. So that's one thing. The other thing, and people really, you can't do this in every neighborhood because of some people have policies and neighborhood rules and restrictions and whatever. But door knockers is another really, really very inexpensive way for you to get out there. When I got back from vacation, I had a letter in my mailbox. It was just a folded piece of paper letting me know that there is a tree company that's going to be doing some work in this neighborhood next week, that if I'm interested in getting some tree work done, that they would give me a deal because they're already going to be here. So, if you're going to go into a neighborhood and have a job, you're going to be there 3 or 4 days, man, write a letter. It's not going to cost you a thing to write a letter and put them in people's mailbox. Just say, hey, we're here. We're doing this thing. If you haven't had your, this done or that done. Yeah.
Let me just speak to that real quick, because it is illegal to put things in people's mailboxes if you didn't pay postage to get it there. Okay. So if you're walking around doing door hangers, you can go up to the door and hang it on the door. If you're doing something that you want to leave just down in a mailbox, don't open the door and put it in the mailbox. Okay. That's the point at which you break the law. If there's a flag or something on the side of the mailbox and you can fold it in a way and stuff it in there to where it stays, that is acceptable. Some people don't appreciate that their mailbox has been used that way, but that's you're not crossing any federal laws there by, just, you can't put it in the box. Okay. A lot of people don't know that. A lot of people do it. I can't even cite a time that somebody's been prosecuted for it, but I just want to make sure we CYA here, not only for our sake, but for yours, and let you know that you can't put it in the box.
Well, mine was put in the box and I read it. So
It
there
worked.
you go. Yeah, it worked. So there you go.
Consult your
And
lawyer.
I'm not, and I do know that, and that's something probably you shouldn't do if that scares you. But you have to take risks sometimes when you're guerrilla marketing. I mean, that's what risk do you want to take? I don't know.
Well, I mean, I've done it. I did it one summer for an organization and went door to door or mailbox to mailbox and just put it on the outside of the mailbox right there. We were given a stack of flyers and rubber bands in case we needed it to like rubber band it to the little lift part, of the mailbox. And I mean, we canvassed entire neighborhoods. It definitely works. So the strategy that you ought to think about doing there is providing all of your technicians, just provide the truck with the flyers, the door knockers. And then anytime they go to a house, I can't remember exactly. I think it's 3 down, 6 across, or 2 down, 4 across, 2 back. So from the house, you go down to the left, 2 houses, across the street, come back, do 4 houses, cross the street again, and do the next 2 houses on the other side of the house that you're doing service at. So you're canvassing those local neighbors. Those neighbors are the ones who are most likely to see your truck out front of their neighbor's house. And they're the ones that are most likely to go, I'm going to ask, Susie what she thought of that company and whether they do a good job because I need somebody to do something for me too. So it's a brilliant way of stimulating conversation among neighbors and getting that referral business.
Yeah, and I agree with that. The other thing, if you don't have a flyer, leave a business card. Business cards are old-fashioned. You can leave them in, put them up in coffee shops. A lot of places I know around Nashville have billboards and stuff. You can put them in. You can put them in laundromats. I mean, there's all kinds of places that you can put your business cards. And a lot of people don't even carry them anymore. They carry a digital business card, which is great, but that's not what I'm talking about. You can't be everywhere with your phone going, oh, here, but you can give out business cards. So that's another really good thing. And here's the other thing. This blows my mind that more offices and staff members do not do this. If you've got people that are sitting around your office twiddling their thumbs because the phone's not ringing, why aren't they picking up the phone and dialing out to old customers or customers that have not, have not come back this year for service, or dialing out and following up on open estimates, just making phone calls. It amazes me. Everybody loves it when the phone call comes in, but you start out asking them to make outbound phone calls, and all of a sudden, nobody wants to talk to anybody. I mean, that's a gold mine in a lot of ways. And if you're not doing anything, if there's not enough work coming in, then you've got to do everything you can to start generating that work. So that's another thing. And then what Carter talked about yesterday is a referral program. If you don't have it instituted in your business yet, then get one done and let all your current clients know that you've just opened up a referral program and yada, yada, and off you go. So if you didn't see that, look at that. It was last week when that happened. So, those are some real good, all of them really low cost ways for you to do some really good guerrilla marketing. Now, Carter, I'm going to let you take this one because you're creative.
One of the things that you can do very quickly is direct mail campaigns. Instead of canvassing a neighborhood and passing out flyers, to people's mailboxes and putting them in the mailbox when you didn't pay for the stamps, just get a whole bunch of postcards done for really cheap, pay for the stamp, and let the postal service do it for you. What I will say is that what we're seeing is the mailbox, the physical mailbox, is a place that's not as crowded as it used to be. You probably noticed that you don't get the same volume of mail that you used to get. and that the pieces that are coming are not, really large or thick catalog kind of things. They're smaller pieces. But what they're finding is that the mailbox is still a really good place to reach people. It's a place that people still, receive value. So it's a great place to put a postcard. And so you can design something that's creative. You can design something unique there. I love the idea of doing on-demand printing where each postcard is customized specifically to the person who's receiving it, so that they feel like it's more personal than just a mass-produced, pre-sorted kind of effort. But the pre-sorted, they're cheaper to do and they work pretty well too. But you can get a lot of good printing done for really cheap when you do postcards. I mean, 1,000 postcards in some places, or you can get it on deals for 150, $200 sometimes. So plus postage, of course. So something to definitely look at. Something else to look at: trade shows. Every major market in the United States has a home and garden show, or several. Sometimes it's more than one. What the heck was that?
Oh, sorry. I was trying to figure out what that was too. I didn't mean to.
So, it's a link from Bart. Okay.
Yeah. So I was actually going to that one. Sorry. I hit the bottom of the one above, which is a link. I don't know what it goes to.
So the thing with trade shows is when people have discretionary income, or when they don't have discretionary income, you'll find both of those kinds of buyers at home and garden shows. The reason is because people who are interested in getting a project done oftentimes find that a place to go and see other people's work and narrow down their search to find the company that they want to use. If they don't have money, they love to window shop, and it's a great place to get your name in front of people who may not be ready to buy now, but could be. And it's amazing to me, having gone to home shows, how I will remember certain vendors who were there who just really impressed me. And I know that whenever I get ready to do that project that I've all, the deck that I've wanted to do for so many years, I know who I'm going to call. And so it's, home shows can be a good investment, fairly low cost, although some of them are getting, kind of pricey. Just depends on the market that you're in. But it's a great place to really show the uniqueness of what you do. Invest in a home, in a large screen TV, and put up a slideshow with your laptop that just cycles through pictures, before and after pictures of your favorite projects that you've done over the years. That's a great way. And then at the end, raffle off the television, right? Just have a bucket there that says, would you like to win this TV? We're giving it away free at, on such and such day at such and such time, right at the end of the show. You don't have to be present to win, but just drop your name, address, phone number, and email address on a written slip of paper, or drop your business card with that information into the bucket, and we'll do a random drawing, and whoever we pick wins the television, free television. So it's a great way to gather leads right from the booth, and also just create a little bit of a buzz in the show.
There we go. There's Bart's. Thanks, Bart. I love this. The big thing is you've got to do whatever it takes to get it done. That really is guerrilla marketing. I mean, that's it. When it's time to fight, you fight like you're the third monkey on a ramp to Noah's Ark. Brother, it's starting to rain.
Yeah.
Get your entire team in the fight and win together. That's fantastic, Bart. Thanks for that. Appreciate that. Yeah, that is so true. And I'm amazed at how many people that call us and don't understand that we cannot do everything. We are digital marketers. We do everything online for you. We can do that. But man, when it gets tough, the tough got to get going. And that means where you are, start figuring out what needs to happen. And so we're going to go on to this next one and talking about focusing in on your target market. So one of the things that a few years back, I was talking to an owner, and I just asked, I said, who's your audience? Oh, women, 100% women. So really, that's interesting. That's chimney. Well, they started doing some research, and he found out that really wasn't true. What they found out is a lot of the men made the decision, but the wives were the one calling and actually making the appointment. So they started doing gun shows. So now they're targeting men at gun shows. All right. So where else do men go? Well, man, I've seen a lot of men at garden shows. I've seen a lot of women at garden shows. Women go to craft shows, antique shows. Both men and women are there. So these are all the things that you can think outside of the box and say, where's my target audience? Where should I be going right now? What should I be doing? Who should I be talking to? Is there something happening in my community that I can be there? So those are all those kind of things that to talk about. And then the other thing, and I'm going to hold this over to you too, Carter, because here's a question that I have. So I'm going to give it to you, Carter. You ready?
Yeah.
Here's the question. When I advertise, what is my message right now? Since nobody's looking for me, what's my message?
Yeah, it is much more of a brand awareness play. Times like this, your message is, you're getting their attention. You're waving your hands frantically over in the corner and yelling, "Hey, look at me!" And the reason you're doing that is so that people will remember you. You're building equity in your brand name when you're advertising. When people aren't sure whether they need you or not, you can educate, but generally that doesn't happen in an advertisement. There are certain things that you can, if it's a quick, like, did you know kind of a thing, leaky chimneys can be covered pretty easily in an advertisement that can be glanced at and understood in 3 seconds or less. Did you know the leak in your living room might be caused by your chimney? That can get people thinking about something they may not have considered. So that can be effective, but you're engaging when you do that. You're getting people to think. And but I would say that when people aren't looking for you, the goal is, and it's important to continue advertising even when people aren't looking for you, so that when they are looking for you, they recognize your name, they know you're the company that they see all over the place, and they will pull the trigger. This has been proven just in politics. The people who get elected oftentimes aren't the most qualified. They're the ones that had the most money for yard signs and for visibility campaigns or brand awareness campaigns is, what we would say when you're talking about, on commercial side, but in politics, they're visibility campaigns. You just got to be the most visible. You got to be the one that people just remember when they get to the ballot box as a fairly uneducated, I don't mean uneducated in life, just uneducated about the election, fairly disengaged voter who's standing there looking at just a list of names, and it doesn't tell them who any of them are. And they haven't done their homework to know who they're going to vote for. A lot of times they pull the lever for the one who they just recognize. Oh, I remember that guy's signs. And so they pull the lever. And it happens in business as well. Oftentimes you get the call because people just remember your business name. They've seen you more often than they've seen anyone else. And so they figure that must mean something. And that bias kicks in their head. And so they give you the call.
So Chuck used purple. He swears it pops and pays. So for any of you out there that are looking for a color, steal that from Chuck.
Especially if you're in the market that Chuck was in.
Exactly. So let me just go through this just a minute, because really, call a Kaizen meeting to brainstorm with your team on how to get your message out. I think that's a great idea. Thanks, Jerry. Appreciate that. And then Chuck also said, work your current list. It is practically free. Yes, that is one of my pet peeves. Is if you got people in the office not doing anything, work your list, work it, baby. That's it, work it.
And if you don't have a list, then downtime is the perfect time to start putting that list together.
Yes,
And you know, it could be that you've got really old names with phone numbers on your list that haven't been contacted in years. That's not the place to start an email list. Okay, that'll get you in trouble. But you can call that list and say, "Hi, Mrs. Smith. You probably haven't heard from us in many years, but we're just calling to let you know we're still in business. And if you still own the home at such and such address, and you have anything that you need done, we'd be happy to help you. By the way, while I've got you, would you like to get on our mailing list just to get a coupon for $20 off your next service? If so, can I have your email address?" Right? And you can use that to start building your list, but you got to call them and get that permission first. Don't just go emailing a customer that you haven't done business with in over 18 months. That's the gold standard. Can spam. Anything older than 18 months, you don't have a right to just contact them via email anymore. If you've done business with them within the past 18 months, it's a little more gray area there in terms of what you can do in reaching out to them. Right now, you can still do it and skirt the can spam laws. But I will say, that's going to be changing probably in the next couple of years. We'll see a federal legislation that will protect a Digital Privacy Act that will protect consumers all across the United States instead of state by state. We just see it, gearing up to happen. And I'm not even too upset about it. I think it's a good thing for consumers. But anyway, right now, those are the rules.
Yeah. So if you don't have a list, the time to build one's now. That's what I would say.
Yep. Use the list you got. And if you don't have one, build it.
Yeah, and that brings us to being flexible and adaptable, because I think that's one of the things that people don't realize is when you're doing guerrilla marketing, you have to move quickly. If you see an opportunity or an opening, or if you see something that's working better than another thing, that's a really great thing. If you have a really good list and you've got phone numbers, and most of them are mobile numbers, then you may want to do what's called a database reactivation campaign with text. Now, there are things you have to do with that. I tell people to let professionals do that, mainly because there's just some structural things that have to happen in those campaigns, but it's not really expensive. It's something that we do for clients. So, those are things that you want to think about, that yes, that's in the digital realm, because most people will look at a text over an email today. So that is an option to do that if you don't want your people in the office making those calls. So there's some other things that you can do. So just be flexible with that. And then the last thing I want to talk about is messaging around flexibility and adaptability. Don't be afraid to try different messages. Carter just said, $20 off. Is it $20 or would 20% do better? Have some flexibility and test some of your messaging as you're getting some things done, and find out what really works for you in your area, because it is different. It changes from one area to another. So now we're going to have some fun. We're going to talk about a couple of really, really fun things and famous examples of guerrilla marketing. And I don't know if you guys have ever seen the Blendtec campaign that basically is "Will It Blend?" So Carter and I both have Blendtecs. We know this, or I know this, because a friend of ours at the same time hollered at his wife and my wife and said, "Oh my God, you got to come down here and get one of these things." And we did. We bought them within, I think, 2 days of each other.
Yep.
But the whole Blendtec thing that was so amazing is, they put golf balls.
Yeah.
They put
videos.
Do what?
It was the video campaign that they did.
Yeah.
The Will It Blend YouTube video campaign. And every one of those videos got millions of views. People watching the owner of the company put on safety goggles and then feed like broom handles and golf balls and cell phones and glass glassware and things like that into it, and just watch that Blendtec blender chew it to pieces.
Yeah.
It was fascinating. It was destructive, fun, and but man, it sold a lot of blenders.
Well, and I don't know, do y'all still have yours?
Oh, of course, yeah.
Yeah,
Still
we
works.
do too. Ours has over 15,000.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, we use the heck out of ours.
Yeah.
It's just crazy.
So I will say, we jumped. I was with a different company doing other things at the time. The Blendtec blender craze and the Will It Blend campaign was going on YouTube really strong. But during that time, I was testing some strategies and things for promoting another product, and so I put a video out there called "Goldfish in a Blender," and it was one of those gotcha kind of titles to see whether or not people would click on it and be brave enough to see a goldfish in a blender. And I didn't really put a goldfish in a blender. I put goldfish crackers in a blender. And that was the gotcha at the end of it all. But it was just kind of fun. We had fun with it. We were trying to kind of send people over to another site. And it didn't work at all in terms of its call to action. But we got over 1 million views on the video just because of the whole Will It Blend thing. And we caught that wave, that algorithmic wave in YouTube that was promoting anything having to do with blenders or, related to that as being, it was just part of that wave. And we kind of caught it. So we got a lot of eyeballs, but didn't get a lot of, direct traffic over to where we wanted it to go.
So I'm going to stop before I go on, because if you guys have thumbs up, hearts, love, all that kind of stuff, I know Facebook still likes that mess. So I'm going to ask you to go ahead and do that. If you're enjoying what we're talking about, that'd be great. And then the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge. Anybody remember that? Oh, that was huge. And the money that, they made through that. And that went on for a good 1.5 years, almost 2 years, just all across the world. So that's just another really good example of just guerrilla marketing, that they just started doing this stuff just to see what would fit. So you might want to think, what could we do on video? What could we do and just put out there and put some kind of, on Facebook and YouTube and put it out, maybe you can do, will this burn? I don't know. Or should it burn? Maybe that's a better deal. I don't know. But anyway, so it's just those kind of things that you don't know when it's going to take flight and when it's really going to move some stuff. And then the most recent one is the Old Spice guy. That's another one that if you look, it's on television, it's on YouTube. I've seen it on Facebook. I've seen this campaign, all over the place. And those are all video campaigns. And I chose those because most of the time, those are the ones that right now are getting the most recognition online. But that's not, there's others. It's always something out there that somebody's doing a little bit differently, tweaking it a little bit, doing a little here, doing a little there. I know there was a plumber in I can't remember exactly where they Morgan Miller Plumbing, I think it was. They had their cover go viral. It's got a big guy technician. He's in a bathtub, with the spray coming over, with a shower cap on, scrubbing his back, and that went viral about 4 or 5 years ago. So these are all things that people do really for guerrilla marketing purposes. And I don't know if any of y'all have any other ideas. It would be great. What, Terry? I will double check.
That was me just responding to Terry. I don't know why it makes me respond as you, but I guess it's because you're the one that set it up. It's funny. I don't even know. Terry had asked about the 18-month rule about customers older than 18 months since the last service. She knew it was part of the do not call registry rules, but didn't know that it was part of the email. And it got me kind of second guessing myself, but I've read the Can Spam Act, and
it's 18 months.
95% positive that it's 18 months as well. So it might be one of those areas where it mirrors the laws.
Yeah, I'm almost positive right there with you. So, guys, we're at 35 minutes, a little bit over, but that was a good subject. Just remember that Spark Live is also released as a podcast. We're on Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, Podvine, or your favorite player. And next week, we're going to have some fun on how to handle customer complaints. I'll tell a story about what I just had happen to me on my holiday. And we'll go from there, but we'll talk about the best way to handle customer complaints. And I think it's going to be fun. So thank you, all of you, for being here. We so appreciate it every single week. We look forward to seeing you next week, and hope for all of y'all that are going to HPBA, we're going to have a booth there. Please stop by, say hello. Love to see you. And we'll go from there. Thanks so much, guys.
Thanks, everyone.